Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my monthly haul, and it's gonna be a bit of a weenie one because I just didn't buy that much throughout this month. I just now, about 10 minutes ago, got back from IMATS Toronto, and it's changed, guys. Like, it's so different than how I remember it. There were so few vendors there, and I thought I was gonna pick up some things, but I didn't anticipate barely picking up anything at all. So I only got 2 items at IMATS Toronto, which just feels so strange. So the vendor that I was the most interested in checking out was Cleona Cosmetics, because they've kind of blown up in the indie makeup world for having this stained glass collection that looks unreal, like just absolutely unreal. The shadows are like this trichrome beautifulness, and I think they came out with something ridiculous like 30 or 40 shades. So I've been putting off buying them because they can be quite pricey. I think the single shadows are $25, which is a lot for a single shadow, especially given the fact that I don't really buy single shadows anymore. I'm pretty much restricted to palettes because I feel like you get the most bang for your buck in that respect. But Cleona Cosmetics was going to be at IMATS Toronto, and I was like, well, you'll get the opportunity to swatch the shades there and really pick out which ones you would love the most. So that's what I did, and I picked up 2 shadows by Cleona Cosmetics. They were $25 there, so I don't think that they were discounted, but hey, there you have it. So these 2 shadows are part of their stained glass collection, which has that just beautiful packaging. I think that's gorgeous. Plus it's a rainbow, so you instantly got me. And they had a lot of shadows still remaining, although they had sold out of quite a few, to my understanding. But these ones really drew my attention. So I'm not even sure of the shadow names here. Let me see. So this first one here is called Anil, which is a word I don't know, but it must have something to do with stained glass because, or the creation of stained glass, because most of their collection had really unique names that was kind of involving like blacksmithing and stuff like that. So Anil is this beautiful, oh man, it shifts so much I don't even know what color to call it. So I see a deep forest green that shifts into purple with red, and then there's some blue in there as well. And the other one that I got is called Smolder, and this one kind of shifts. Again, it's so hard to pick out what color exactly it is, but it's like a hot pink with a red edge to it, and then depending on the angle, I see right now from where my eyesight's hitting this, like a gold yellow with green, and then sometimes just straight yellow. These shadows are unreal, and I cannot wait to play with them. I only have 2 shadows because, again, they were $25 each, so these 2 together were $50, which I feel like is a lot of money, but man, they look so gorgeous. I think in order to get the full effect, I'm just gonna have to swatch these because I tried showing them to the camera and it, like, just holding it up, and it wasn't getting the reflect that I really wanted to showcase. So maybe this will work. So those are the 2 shadows, and depending on how you kind of move your fingers around, they shift colors a lot. And honestly, I'm looking at the viewfinder right now and I don't really feel like it's doing this stuff justice. Maybe if how am I gonna do this? Swatch them like that. They do say that the more it wraps around something like your eyeball, it will cause those different shadows to show up. But yeah, these are really pretty. They do have quite a strong black base though, so you don't want to buff them out too much because then it just turns into black. But yeah, these are so pretty, and I really hope that's showing up on camera. So that was all that I got at IMATS. 2 single eyeshadows, and that feels so bizarre, but IMATS was so small this year. There were no major vendors. I mean, there was some. Makeup Forever was there, but there was no MAC. There was no NYX. There was no Kat Von D. Not that I would buy her stuff anymore, but she used to pull a huge crowd. No Morphe either. They used to have an enormous booth with so many people lined up for hours to pick up their products, but they weren't there either. So IMATS is just becoming smaller and smaller every year. Anyway, I do have 2 other products to show you for this monthly haul, and one of them is this Sugar Pill Fun Size palette. Okay, I bought this, I swear, like 2 months ago, and it took so long to get to me, which seemed a little bit bizarre. I feel like the shipping was just slow. Like it just left from their warehouse very late, because this should have been in last month's haul, but it just never showed up in time, so I'm putting into this one. So this is the Fun Size palette, and I was really drawn to this because it is a rainbow palette, but it's also a smaller one too, and Sugar Pill has this tendency to put out really large eyeshadow pans, and I just don't need large eyeshadow pans because I'm not running through an eyeshadow anytime soon. So when I first saw this palette, I was drawn to it because the color scheme is really pretty. They're kind of these, they're not pastel neons, but they sort of look a bit like it. Like they're a little bit more of a muted neon color, which I think is interesting. And the color range seemed a little bit different, and that's what was exciting to me. This shade down here called Continue is a bizarre yellow shade. It's not one that I would expect to see in a rainbowy neon pastel kind of palette, but I think it'll be fun to play with in connection with the other colors. And the other thing that suckered me about, well, two other things that suckered me about this palette. There's a cat on the front, and that's really adorable, but the entire theme of the palette is based around video games, and the shade names just make me smile so much. Cheat Code, 8-Bit, Player One, Twitch, Level Up, Rage Quit, Continue, High Score, and Game Over. I just loved the entire aesthetic of this palette, and it had been quite a while since I'd actually purchased a Sugar Pill palette or shadow, so I was really enamored with this thing. I haven't played with it yet because it's been sitting in my like pile of things to haul at the end of the month, so now I get to go put it in my bedroom and play with it, and I'm super excited. I thought this was super adorable. Oh, and I didn't get charged customs on this, but just something to remind everybody, if you're ordering stuff into Canada, it doesn't matter what the brand is if you're ordering stuff in here. All that matters is what the label marker says for customs. If it is over $20, you run the risk of having customs put onto your order. That's just the way it works. It's not dependent on the brand. So I didn't get customs, but I just got lucky. And the very last thing I have to talk about, I told you this was a tiny haul month, is this like crystal nail file by Revlon. My mom randomly picked this up for me, and I don't really know why, but I was excited because I had wanted one of these crystal nail files before because people had said that they don't wear out as quickly as the emery boards do, because when I file down my nails, because I don't really cut them, when I file them down, I'm basically running through an entire emery board in one session just to like file these suckers down. So that's not great because I'm constantly buying them and throwing them out. So I think with this, it doesn't actually wear down because it's etched into the glass. I'm not really sure about this one. I haven't looked into it or even read the back of the packaging, but I thought that this would be nice to try, and I was so surprised that my mom just happened to pick it up for me because I don't think I've ever mentioned the fact that I run through emery boards so quickly. So I had bought something that was similar to one of these, I think from a CVS, a few months ago, and that thing is garbage. It basically fell apart right away, so I don't think this Revlon one is going to be like that. But it's just funny because I had tried to buy something similar and it just completely failed. And I only bought it because it had a pretty gradient on the back of it, as well as like a bunch of sparkles. So anyway, if that thing is trash, I'm hopeful that this one will not be. And that is it for the monthly haul. I only had 4 things to show you, and it feels bizarre because all the holiday launches are happening right now, and I'm not into a lot of them. I just feel like there's so much being regurgitated in the makeup world lately that I'm just kind of like, I'm not into it. There's a few items I'm after. The Hot Buttered Rum palette by Too Faced, the little mini one, I think I will be picking that up at some point, but I'm probably just gonna wait for the Sephora sale because I don't want to pay full price for anything right now, especially when I'm not as excited by things as I feel like I used to be. So I don't know, I'm not buying as many things lately. Nothing wrong with that. But hopefully you still found this haul interesting. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.